Okay. Leo is an assistant professor of psychology at Utah Valley University. He earned his PhD in psychology at West Virginia University in 2011 with a specialty in lifespan developmental psychology and a research emphasis in how age affects judgment and decision making. Much of Leo's research focuses on logical errors and fallacies in decision making and factors that make these errors either more or less likely to occur. Leo's research has been published in a variety of empirical journals and was recognized with the American Psychology Association's Dissertation Research Award in 2010. Leo resides in Salt Lake City, where he enjoys skiing, biking, and all things outdoors during his free time. He'll be speaking with us today about logic and fallacies in decision making, so please welcome Leo Schlosnagle.
Okay, so first off, I'm very anti-microphone. Can you guys hear me? Okay. If I'm getting too quiet or you can't hear me, just tell me to repeat myself and I'll repeat myself. I know a lot of you folks, for those of you who don't know me yet, my name's Leo. Nice to meet all you guys. As Andy said, my background is in research on logic and decision-making fallacies and how people make logical errors in different decision-making scenarios. So today we'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll jump right into that. By the way, last year I put so many different cat pictures in my slides that one of my students ended up buying me a 2016 cat calendar. So some of the going too fast. There we go. So some of the errors of logic and decision making we'll talk about today are things that you're probably already familiar with. So we'll start off with one that people are usually somewhat familiar with, and that's the confusion between correlation and causation. Sometimes we see two things that seem to be related, there's a correlation between them, and we think that one thing is causing the other, but sometimes that's not the case. So I'll give you a prime example of that. When I was in college student, one day I was on my way to class, and it was about lunchtime, so I decided to stop in the cafeteria and make myself a sandwich. And I made my sandwich, put it in a to-go box, and walked out of the cafeteria and headed across campus to go to my class. And as I was walking along, my eyes started feeling kind of itchy and irritated, and so I started to rub my eyes. And the more I rubbed my eyes, the worse they felt. Before I knew it, my vision was getting blurry, my eyes were watering, and it was just really irritating. And right at that point, I tripped, and I almost fell flat onto my face. I didn't quite fall down, but I did drop my box with a sandwich in it. And the box broke apart, the sandwich spilled out into the ground, it was covered in dirt, and it was ruined. Right when this happened, a group of students who didn't know me and I didn't know them were walking toward me. And they saw two things. First thing they saw was the sandwich that I just ruined, covered in dirt, sitting on the ground. The second thing they saw was me standing there looking at the sandwich with tears. And they came up to me and they said, don't worry, it's okay, we'll buy you another sandwich. Please don't cry. And I'm trying to tell them, I'm not crying because of the sandwich. But the point is they saw two variables. Sandwich on the ground ruined, tears streaming down my face. And to them, it was completely obvious that the first variable had caused the second. The ruined sandwich was causing me to cry. What had actually happened, though, was when I made the sandwich, I had accidentally spilled some spicy mustard on my wrist, and I didn't realize it. So when I was rubbing my eyes, I was accidentally rubbing spicy mustard into my eyes, was causing them to water profusely, and that's what was causing me to cry. So the point being is that sometimes when you see two things that are related, it might seem like one is causing the other, but if all you're observing is a correlation, you don't know if there are other variables at play. There could be spicy mustard in the mix that might otherwise interpret your understanding. So that's an example of a kind of error in decision making or logic or reasoning that we're all probably fairly familiar with. Let's talk about one, though, that maybe you're not quite as familiar with. And in order to do that, I need a little bit of participation from everyone. I want you to consider this scenario, which is a scenario that probably a lot of us have experienced before. I want you to imagine that you go to see a movie and that movie costs you $10 to see. And after about 15 minutes, the movie seems pretty bad, and you're not enjoying yourself. So, you have a decision to make. And I want you to choose one of these two options. Do you either A, continue watching the movie, or do you B, leave the movie? Now keep that decision in your mind. It's either A or B, and I want you to remember it for a minute. So hold on to that, and I'll come back to it. So now, I want you to consider a very similar, but a little bit different scenario. Imagine you go to see a movie, and this time the movie is free, but after 15 minutes it seems pretty bad, and again, you're not enjoying yourself. So now, do you either A, continue to watch the movie, or B, you leave the movie? So, hopefully everyone's got their two choices. And what I'm really interested in is, how many of you chose A for the first one and B for the second? If you did that, raise your hand. Okay, good chunk of folks. So, can you give me just kind of a basic idea of why you chose A for the first one and B for the second one? What was your rationale?
Well, the thought process that I had, depending on the minute, I guess, for a second, and I thought I'd slow it down and think what I have done, probably the math, and just say I can just extrapolate that further. It's probably what I've done in the past, but further, just pattern as possible.
Okay, so you're kind of looking at it as two successive scenarios, and maybe you learn from the first one.
Well, no, I'm saying like I've had both those scenarios before, and it's based off the past experience as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Who else chose both of these and would be willing to describe why they chose these?
Well, the first one, I spent my money, so I look at my money versus watching it's better. The second one was free, so I'm not really losing anything by.
Oftentimes, that's the rationale that people will use. You know, if you spent money on something, that's going to influence your behavior in the future. Whereas if it's free, you're more likely just to walk out. So if you chose A for the first one and B for the second one, and your rationale was you chose A in the first one because you had spent money, what that is called is the sunk cost fallacy. And it's a type of decision-making error that's very common. A lot of people do this. And the reason that the sunk cost fallacy is a fallacy is that prior irretrievable investments should have no bearing on your decision-making because they are sunk costs that are gone. In other words, it doesn't matter if you continue to watch the movie or if you leave the movie, that $10 you spent for the movie is gone, you're not going to get it back. So you shouldn't necessarily be using that as kind of grounds for your decision-making. Now, the sunk cost fallacy, like I said, it's something that's pretty common. We see a lot of different examples of it. And the scenario that I just gave you with movies, you know, it's kind of inconsequential. Who cares whether or not you continue to watch the movie? But the sunk cost fallacy sometimes occurs in scenarios that are hugely consequential. So, for instance, one other example is what happened with the development of the Concorde. The Concorde was a supersonic jet plane that the French and the British developed, I believe, in the 1970s. And as they were developing this plane and designing it, they got about halfway through the development phase for this plane and realized that this plane would become a business failure if they put it into service. It would always cost more money to operate this plane than the plane could produce in revenue. So knowing that the plane would be a business failure, they had a decision to make. Do they either stop development of this plane and scrap the whole project and walk away, or do they continue working on it, put it into production, and eventually put it into service, knowing that it's going to be a failure business-wise? And they continued. They developed the plane, put it into production, put it into service, and their rationale was, we've already come this far. We've already invested millions and millions and millions of dollars into developing this plane and countless hours, so we have to see the project through. Sure enough, this plane became a business failure. It always cost more money to operate than it could generate in revenue. So in that instance, the sunk cost fallacy had pretty serious consequences, at least in terms of money. But there are a lot of other examples of the sunk cost fallacy. Sometimes we see just very everyday scenarios. For instance, with intimate relationships. If you're in a relationship with someone and it's really not going well, sometimes we'll continue to stay in that relationship if we've been dating the person for a year, whereas if we'd only been dating them for a month, we'd probably walk away. We've We've already invested this amount of time, so we kind of keep going with it. Another example, which is much more consequential, is the Vietnam War. When the war was being fought, it was not going particularly well from the U.S. Side of things. And at the time, a lot of politicians and public leaders said, well, we have to continue fighting this war. We have to see it through because we've already invested countless dollars and many lives and all of our resources in it, so we have to keep going. Sure enough, with the Vietnam War, the end result was not in the U.S. and the United States advantage. So that's kind of one example where the consequences are pretty big. Humans, though, are not the only ones who commit the sunk cost fallacy. We see animals committing this fallacy as well. We see this occurring sometimes in the wild, for instance. Certain species of birds, how much time and effort and energy they put into caring for a young bird depends partly on how much time they've already put into caring for that young bird. So for instance, some birds, if their young bird is sick, but they've only been caring for it for a limited amount of time, they'll often abandon that baby bird and let it die. Whereas if they've already put some time in it, they'll continue to take care of the bird. I should also point out that the sunk cost fallacy is not always something that leads to negative or undesirable outcomes. Sometimes it can produce very desirable outcomes. So for instance, if you go to a gym more frequently because you've already invested in a gym membership, well, that would be an example of the sunk cost fallacy, but it's leading you to do something that's probably pretty healthy. So decision-making fallacies and errors, sometimes they produce undesirable outcomes, but sometimes they also produce outcomes that can be desirable as well. And that's good to keep in mind. So that brings us to another type of logical error or bias in decision-making. This is one that you're somewhat familiar with. This is also one that we see a lot of in daily life, which is the confirmation bias. Sometimes we call this the my side bias. Confirmation bias happens when essentially we will look for evidence that supports our preconceived ideas or notions, and we will ignore evidence that goes against our preconceived ideas or notions. And confirmation bias is something that we see a lot of in just daily life. A lot of us are pretty guilty of this. We'll pay attention to news stories that kind of fit in with our worldview, our political leanings, and ignore news stories that don't fit in so much with our preconceived notions. Confirmation bias is also a hallmark of pseudoscience. Pseudoscience is marked by a few different things, but one thing it's marked by is that pseudoscientific theories often begin with an assumption and look for facts to back up that assumption. This is a prime example of this is with creationism. The assumption being that a higher power of some sort created nature in the world, and then pseudoscientific creationists will look for evidence to back up that assumption. The problem with this approach is that if you begin with an assumption and look for facts to back up your assumption, you will inevitably almost always find facts to support your assumption, regardless of what your assumption is. Your assumption can be completely incorrect, but you can still find evidence to support it. I'll give you an example. I'll start with an assumption that is clearly incorrect. My assumption is that all of you are not human beings, you're wolves. Obviously a crazy assumption, but let's look for some facts to back that up. All of you are wolves. Well, you're all mammals, you're all warm-blooded. Females give birth to live young and typically take care of their children for a period of time. You're all very social, you're here in a group. To a certain extent, you rely on social interaction and cooperation for survival. These are all indisputable facts that suggest that you're wolves. Of course, you're not wolves, so you're human beings. So you can kind of see one of the problems with beginning with an assumption and looking for facts to back up that assumption. It leads you to just incorrect conclusions in a number of ways. So this is kind of the defining line between pseudoscientific thinking and scientific thinking. Good science usually begins with facts that are known. It may develop certain assumptions based on those facts, but even then, those assumptions have to be testable and put to the test. So that's kind of a defining line between what we would call pseudoscientific thinking and scientific thinking. Now I want to talk about another example of confirmation bias that has always been really interesting to me. And that is the connection between confirmation bias and feelings of faith. Now, confirmation bias, I should point out, is not something that is by any means limited to people of faith. People who are atheists, people who are agnostic, and everything else commit the confirmation bias on a pretty regular basis. But we can see a lot of examples of confirmation bias amongst people who have deep faith. So for instance, you may begin with an assumption that there is a God or a higher power, and then look for facts to back up that assumption. For instance, if you are a person who prays and those prayers are answered and you receive what you've asked for, you maybe then move to the conclusion that God has answered your prayers or God has responded to what you've asked for in some way. On the other hand, if you pray for something or ask for something and your prayers aren't immediately answered, there's kind of a delay, you may assume, well, God is maybe teaching me patience, or maybe, I'm not praying in the right way, or something else. Or if your prayers are just completely unanswered, maybe you conclude that, God has something better planned for you, or maybe God knows what you need better than you do, and so you aren't asking for the right thing, something like that. The point being is that no matter what the actual outcome is, you find a way to lead it to support your original assumption that there is God. Now, at this point, I also really want to point something else out that's very important, which is that I'm an agnostic, and what I'm talking about here is the connection between confirmation bias and faith. But as I mentioned a minute ago, confirmation bias is not something that only people of faith commit. We could spend just as much time talking about how atheists use confirmation bias to confirm the assumption that there is no God. So it goes in both directions. It's not limited to just people of faith or people who lack faith or anything in between. It's something that's pretty pervasive amongst a lot of folks. You see a lot of examples of it. So at this point, you may be wondering, well, there are these different types of biases out there, different types of decision-making errors and fallacies. So how can we avoid these kinds of pitfalls? How can we become less biased? And how can we avoid certain errors of judgment and decision-making and logic? There's no perfect answer to this. There are a lot of different things that we can do to kind of become more logical and more sound in our reasoning. One tool that we can use, or one rule of thumb that can be to some degree helpful, is Occam's razor. Occam's razor is the principle that if you have two potential explanations for why something is the way that it is, you stick with the most simple explanation that is sufficient, and you ignore the more complicated explanations. So for instance, let's say that you are a medical doctor who's developing a drug to treat some disease, and through research you find great precision that drug fully explains why a disease was cured. So you have a sufficient explanation for why the disease was cured. So you stick with that explanation and you ignore other explanations that, for instance, say the disease was cured because of the drug, and also because the person was wearing red socks, and also because the person had faith in God and God was kind of granting them their wish. You stick with the more simple explanation that is sufficient. And Occam's razor, through this process, it allows us to generate more precise understandings of why our world is the way that it is. It's one good rule of thumb. And I kind of really like Occam's razor, partly because I think it really aligns very well with one of the Oasis core principles, which is that reality is known through reason. That's one of my favorite core principles of Oasis. I really like it, but I also have a problem with it. And my issue with it is that it doesn't necessarily tell us what reason is or how to achieve reason. It's great to say reality is known through reason, but what does that mean? What is reasonable to me? So Occam's razor is one kind of tool that we can use to some degree, either achieve reason or at least get a little bit closer to it. It can allow us to some degree to have a more precise understanding of our world, but also Now, I should also point out that, we could spend an entire day talking about all different types of logical errors and decision-making biases. We've only covered a few here, but needless to say, there are many, many others. And hopefully this gave you a little bit of a nice kind of crash course in the topic and gave you a few things to talk about. So, with that in mind, I'm happy to answer any questions. I hope that those kinds of topics maybe generate some thought and some desire for discussion.
What's a straw man?
Straw man. Straw man is kind of when you set up something to, basically you set up an argument that you know you can win. You set up something with the intent of kind of breaking it down to prove a point. I'm trying to think of a good example. I don't know, did anyone think of a good example of straw man?
Anything on Facebook recently?
Anything on Facebook? Yeah, absolutely.
My parents just posted this morning something about, if we can't afford to increase Medicare and Medicaid, or I think it's Social Security, if we can't afford a cost of living increase for Social Security, how can we afford refugees?
Okay. Yeah.
Which, makes complete total sense because those two are pretty connected.
Yeah, so the straw man, we see it in all kinds of scenarios of just day-to-day conversation, and then of course we see it where, politicians will try to set up an argument and use that to win an argument. We also see it with attorneys and the legal system as well. Lots of examples.
I typically used it as a starting place for people to have something to relate to and hear. And at the end of the day, it's still there. It's not another strong man.
Yeah.
You can't hurt it.
Good point, yeah. If the argument doesn't kind of collapse under those scrutiny, maybe it's a pretty solid argument.
I think straw man is kind of when you can't answer your opponent's argument, so you misstate the opponent's argument to create an argument you can appreciate. You
Yeah.
can't appreciate the opponent's argument.
Sure, yeah, we see lots of examples of that with, news pundits, for instance,
Right.
who do quite a bit of that, absolutely.
Can you kind of elaborate on what logical fallacies are?
That is a great question, and it's very difficult to answer in a lot of ways. For as much time as I've spent studying logical fallacies and decision-making error, there's still, to some degree, debates on what is a logical error and a fallacy and what is not. There are some examples of logical errors where some researchers will say this is a logical error, and other people will say no, it's not. So to some degree, it kind of depends on how you want to look at it. The sunk cost fallacy is one example where some people will say this is a logical error because a prior investment should not influence your decisions. But other people will say, well, the sunk cost fallacy can lead us to do excellent things, such as, well, one example was the example I gave earlier, where you continue to go to gym more frequently because you've made an investment in it. Or maybe, you persevere with making a friendship work because you've known them for 10 years, And in that case, it kind of makes sense to commit the sunk cost fallacy, They can potentially help us in some ways. So, I hate to not have a clear answer for you, but the answer is there is no clear answer for cases. What some people consider to be a fallacy or an error in judgment decision making, other people might consider to be very logical.
What are the common errors you see in your students? In your work, with working with students, what are the common errors that they present to you? You're always kind of trying to address with them.
That's a great question too. So certainly a lot of confirmation bias, but that's not unique to students. Everyone does that. I do that, This is kind of a good example of how, even though we're aware of some types of biases and decision-making errors, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're immune to them or that we don't commit them. It's not necessarily a decision-making error or logical error that they commit, but one thing I see a lot of with undergraduate students is they want to find very clean-cut examples of how one event in a person's life will lead to a certain outcome. So a lot of times they kind of think in terms of, if this happens to a person, then this person will do this or experience some particular outcome. And of course, human development and human behavior is not that easy. There's so many different things involved, from your genetics to, what you had for lunch today, to, what religion you belong to influence how we behave. And so very rarely there's kinds of clean-cut, one-to-one causal effects that a lot of students kind of want to see.
Are there some good ways to really present yourself? Not that you think of it more again.
I mean, probably
that really doesn't. So how do you your own?
this is all anecdotal. I don't know what the research is on that topic in terms of what research shows, is best at combating confirmation bias. I would assume that one of the first steps is just awareness of it. But again, just being aware of something doesn't necessarily make you immune to it. That is a fantastic question. Honestly, I don't know the answer to it. I'm sure there are probably different things that can be done. But the short of it is that confirmation bias is very, very powerful, and it's very difficult to state for those people, myself included.
Andrew, you mentioned that you were published in UVU Journal. Right? Are there any that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so, and this is kind of hot off the press. This semester, I decided to kind of go in a slightly new direction with my research, which up until this point, I've been studying decision-making errors and fallacies in a level of what we would call basic research, which doesn't have any immediate application. Basically, looking for just rules and principles, and you're generating knowledge and understanding just for the sake of knowledge and understanding, even if it doesn't have any apparent application. What I want to do now is I'd like to start going in the direction of looking at how some of these errors in judgment and decision-making might relate to how people reason about climate change and environmental policy, and how people might be swayed in one direction or another on these kinds of issues through some of these biases and logical errors. So that's kind of where I'm headed right now. So the question was basically the difference between forming an assumption and looking for evidence versus forming a hypothesis and looking for evidence to support that hypothesis. Assumptions can be taken out of anywhere. You can just create an assumption from thin air, like the wolf example, the assumption that all of the rules. Hypotheses are generally generated based on prior research, oftentimes, sometimes decades and decades of prior research. So you look at the research that's been done on the topic, and from there, oftentimes, you generate your hypothesis. So it's usually based on certain facts and pieces of evidence that have already been found, and then your hypothesis is often based on that. So that's one of the big differences between those two things. I should also point out that, scientists, researchers are just as prone to things like confirmation bias as anyone else. A researcher might set up a hypothesis and only look for information that supports their preconceived idea and ignore other information. One of the big differences, though, between that and just people in general is that science generally has certain safeguards to try to prevent that from happening. So, for instance, double-blind experiments that to some degree safeguard against things like confirmation bias.
Kind of arrived at reproducibility biases.
Arrived at what?
Reproducibility biases. They try to reproduce 100 psychological studies and sometimes 60% of them are not.
So, one thing I would say about that is that it really also depends on what area of psychology you're talking about. If you're talking about certain areas personality psychology and some other pieces of research that are based on theories that are not very scientifically sound? Absolutely, there's some issues with replication. Talking about behavior analysis, there is a long history of very, very well conducted research that has been replicated time and time and time and time again. That's one area of psychology where it's probably got a better track record of replication than many other areas of science. So it kind of depends on what branch of psychology you're talking about. And there are many branches. Psychology is an enormous field. It's everything from studying the decision-making and judgment to studying sexual orientation, to studying autism, to everything about how and why people behave in the ways that they do. Obviously, it's a
So philosophy and psychology overlap? Because I mean, I've heard people talk about fallacies, they're talking about philosophy. And now we're going to psychology.
Yeah. Yeah, so in a lot of ways, all modern sciences are to some degree kind of built on top of certain philosophical principles, or at least related to certain philosophical principles, and psychology is certainly no exception to that. Modern psychology, though, is, light years beyond what a lot of people generally think of when they think of psychology. When I tell someone I'm a psychologist, they immediately think I'm talking to people sitting on a couch telling me about their, deepest fears and things like that. That has nothing to do with what I do. I have colleagues who, are on the cutting edge of brain research and understanding what influences certain neurons to activate or deactivate. That obviously is a long ways away from, for instance, the philosophies that Freud's theories were based on or things like that. But having said that, yeah, there is certainly a continuity between philosophy and modern science in a lot of ways.
I think one of the biggest fallacies that we really don't recognize is the motive fallacy. An argument is either logically true or logically false, regardless of the motives of the person who's making the argument. But what we see so many times in the media is people, they're attacking the motives of the person making the argument. Like climate change scientists is being attacked because their motive is that they want more funding. But their argument is either true or false, regardless of their motive. But what we mostly see are people's motives.
Yeah, we certainly see a lot of that, unfortunately, maybe. Rather than focusing on the actual argument or evidence itself, maybe focusing on the person who's making the argument, and their personality or their background or what their motives are. And that obviously can lead to some kind of pointless debate sometimes.
Maybe if somebody has one more question.
Can you come back again? Talk more.
Here every week. So yeah, I'm happy to talk with anyone.
Apparently they've shown up also in medicine, chemistry, physics.
What's that?
Reproducible classes.
Oh, yeah, it's showing up everywhere. Again, it really depends on what area of research you're talking about. Some areas of science have excellent track records of replication, and some areas don't.
I think physics would be pretty good.
Once you get into the theoretical